everybody, let's talk about this. This is the Boss DA-2 Adaptive Distortion Pedal, and this was introduced in 2013, and it was not a hit for Boss. Within 2 years, I believe, this thing was discontinued and no longer in production. However, it does one thing really, really well, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So this is a distortion pedal. It is a digital distortion pedal, and it sounds okay. It has a hell of a lot of distortion in it. It's akin to something like a Boss heavy metal pedal, like an HM2, and you know, all the distortion you'll need. However, it sounds a bit harsh, very high-end centric and clinical, and not a lot of warmth. And it's interesting because when they launched this pedal, they told everybody, Boss told everyone in their initial announcement at NAMM 2013 that it contained something called multi-dimensional processing. And most people didn't know what the hell that meant, but Boss later explained what this thing does is, being a digital distortion pedal, it has an algorithm, and instead of just looking at the EQ content and making adjustments, instead of also just looking at the dynamic content and making adjustments through compression and limiting, etc., this thing looks at the harmonic content of your playing. So what it's doing is it's doing some kind of spectrum analysis of the notes that you're playing, the fundamental and the harmonics, and it's ensuring that in your final sound that it outputs, all the notes that you're playing are going to be distinct and heard. So what the effect of this is that you could be playing chords with a hell of a lot of distortion on it, and you could be playing chords that are rather complex. They might have a lot of complex color tones in them, and you know, maybe like major sevenths and ninths and 13ths and all this kind of stuff. And this thing will make sure that every single note in your chord is heard, even though you've got balls to the wall levels of distortion on it. It's actually really interesting. Now, I have done a recording, essentially a demo of this pedal, where I will put a link to it in the description box below, or the first pinned comment, one of the two, and you can check it out how it sounds. And I'm intentionally playing a lot of complex chords, and you can hear how, even though this thing's got a ton of distortion on it, you can hear all those color tones very, very clearly. So it's quite interesting. Now, as I said, this pedal was not a hit. However, they did further refine this technology, and they put it into more successful products later on, like the DS1X, which is the digital version of this pedal. That was a much more successful product. And the digital version of this, the OD3, I think it's the OD1X, I believe. But those were much more successful products than this, and they've since done a lot of other things with their multi-dimensional processing that they've taken it to new heights and had a lot of hit products with it. But this was the version 1.0, and for that it still deserves a place in the Hall of Fame, or at least in the history of Boss and distortion pedals for that reason. So there you go. Thank you for watching. You guys are awesome, and I'll see you next time.